Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. For this Wednesday, January 30th, 2013, I'm Suri Serrano, and this is our daily show where we catch you up on all the latest movie news with insight into what it all means. Joining me as always is AMC Movie News Senior Editor John Campea. Hi.
Lord Vader compels you. Lord Vader compels you. I'm mixing genres there. Hey, everybody. How you doing?
We are obsessed with his goblet. And also joining us is Joel Amos from MovieFanatic.com. Welcome, Joel.
Thanks for having me, Suri. Good to see you, and you as well, John.
You too, Joel.
All right, so let's get started with this first piece of news. Are you ready to hang out once again with Vince, Turtle, Eric, Johnny Drama, and Ari? Well, it appears the guys are coming to the big screen, as it is being reported that Warner Brothers have given the green light to an Entourage movie. Show creator Doug Ellin is going to direct the film, and it is expected that all the major cast will return to reprise their roles. A script for the film was finished in 2012, and Ellin described it in this way. There are interesting developments about Ari as a studio head, and that's still the first page for me. But foremost is the friendship between the guys who are still hanging out and going to fun parties, and it continues with the same characters. No word yet on a release date or when the project would go into production. So Joel, what do you think of an Entourage movie?
I think an Entourage movie is probably the most logical step for that series. I think it's something people wanted when the show was on the air, and they resolved it rather nicely. I personally would love to see more of Ari as a studio head, having experience with studio heads here in town. I think he is the mold and more, and I think it's the next logical step. And I think I think you're going to line up a lot of cameos for that movie, and I think that's going to boost the interest, and we might see kind of a player-ish, like Tim Robbins kind of movie, minus the mystery, obviously. But I think it's a very good thing, and I think people will really be excited for it.
I want to throw in there, great reference. If you have not seen The Player with Tim Robbins, you really, really should. It's a great movie. I think this is really good news for a couple of reasons. One, people have been looking forward to the show. I kind of checked out in the second last season when we were going through the whole Vince with his drug addiction, horrible, boring, repetitive storyline, and I kind of checked out. And I will confess, I didn't watch the last season because of that. But I heard from most people, including Dennis over there, was just telling me that season 8 was actually a big improvement, and that's great. This show was always about lifestyle porn. It was about people tuning in because they wanted to vicariously live that life that, people like us get to live every day, living in Hollywood. Lord Vader compels you. And it worked when it did that, and then it kind of stopped working when they got away from it, aka season 7. So hearing Ellin describe the script as getting back to hanging out with the guys, living that life, going to parties, blah, 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 that to me is a good sign. Also, Dennis pointed out to me this is a great idea for a couple of reasons, because number one, look at the success of Sex and the City.
Totally.
Right.
Which is the penisless version of Entourage in many ways. And, that first film came out, big success. I also think the timing is good, because if you right up to the end of the last season and then come out immediately and said to him, by the way, movie's coming, it would have felt forced. But if you waited like 2 more years, it would have felt too little too late. I think this is great timing. I think this is going to work out really well. So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
I'm with you on that. All right. The Wolverine opens in AMC theaters everywhere on June 26th, and Hugh Jackman seems to be feeling very confident about the film. In a recent interview, Jackman expressed that he feels he's failed up until now to truly do justice to the character. He said the following: I didn't fully understand that when I went in, The pressure now is much bigger. I feel I understand why there's the passion. I understand the character and the legacy, and I don't feel up until this movie that we've completely lived up to that. So that's what I intend to do. So, John, do you like what you're hearing from Jackman about the Wolverine?
Well, first of all, I think Jackman is underselling himself. I think, look, was the last Wolverine good? No. But he is a great Wolverine. He's a great poster child for everybody complaining about the casting when he's first announced, and then totally getting sold on it, because everybody hated the casting of Hugh Jackman, this unknown Australian dude who did stage musicals? What? And he's Wolverine? And yet he's you can't think of Wolverine now without thinking Hugh Jackman. So I think he's underselling himself. But that being said, I love his attitude of, I still haven't done this right. I haven't done this right. Because those are the guys who've never thought, now I can coast. He believes he's got to keep pushing himself and really stretching for who that Wolverine character is. And from everything we've heard from him and James Mangold, the director of the Wolverine, it really sounds like they want to go for the core, visceral essence of who Wolverine is. Mangold's already said they're really going to go for the whole exploring the Wolverine berserker rage, which they've never really touched on in the X-Men films. I love that it's going to be so deep in narrative, and I love that he really wants to get more and more and more in touch with this character. So I love what I'm hearing. Joel, what about you?
I love what I'm hearing too, and I agree with you that that first Wolverine movie was kind of and whenever you hear an actor, particularly like Jackman's caliber, talk about how he hasn't really done his best, I think audiences should really start salivating that really you haven't done your best yet. Well, I can't wait to see it. It kind of reminds me a bit of what Daniel Craig said about Quantum of Solace, that he kind of felt like that maybe wasn't the best that he could bring, and that in those 4 years between that and Skyfall, he was really dedicated. And look what we got with Skyfall. So I mean, if Wolverine is half the movie that Skyfall is to the Bond people, I mean, people into X-Men should be very, very excited.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of reasons we should be excited about this Wolverine movie. I really do. I think this is going to be great. Mangold and Jackman have worked well together before. Jackman is great as his craft. I think they've learned from their mistakes from the last Wolverine film, and I think we are in for a real treat this summer. Hey, listen, folks. One of the things we used to do on AMC Movie Talk was we used to take your questions. We used to have a mailbag segment, and ever since we've gone to a daily format, we haven't done it. But you guys have constantly commented and emailed us saying you want the mailbag segment back, which we are more than happy to do. So every day, we're going to pull a question out of the mailbag. You can send in your questions to amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Once again, that's amcmovietalk@gmail.com. And we're going to pull one question every day, and we just happened to get one in today. So, Suri, what do we got in the mailbag?
All right. Hi, movie talkers. Just let me say I missed the hour-long show, but I love that the show is daily now. Anyway, there has been a lot of discussion about what movies will be the best in 2013. But from a business point of view, what 2013 movie do you think will be the biggest hit at the box office? Love you guys. Jillian M. from New York City.
Well, thank you, Jillian M. Joel, let's start with you on this. What do you think is going to win the box office at 2013?
It's very interesting. I think that we don't have a crystal ball as clear as we did last year. I think you looked at last
Good
year
point.
and you could say,
yeah.
The Avengers, end of story. As long as it's Joss, it's going to be great. This year, I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite. I think, we could look at Man of Steel. We could even look at Wolverine like we talked about. But those movies still have a bit of a question mark. We could even see a surprise, like a Pacific Rim could just really take hold and rock the world. I think it's a fascinating year for people that do what we do, because I think we can't really predict what's going to be the top movie this year. There are a lot of contenders.
I'm going to put on my Swami hat anyway and take a wild guess. I think it's going to come down to two films. I mean, there's some contenders. You've got, like you said, Thor. We've got Man of Steel. We've got Iron Man 3. I think it's going to come down between The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, and the Hunger Games sequel. I mean, yes. the Hunger Games made over $400 million domestically alone this year. We forget that. It very quietly came in third, just behind the Avengers and the Dark Knight Rises. So, I mean, you'd be foolish. You know what? I'll go on a limb. I'm going to say Hunger Games is going to be the number one at the box office in 2013. There's my big prediction. Well, listen, folks, now it's come to that part of the show for Buy and Sell, the segment of the show I blatantly ripped off from ESPN and Around the Horn. And this is what we do. Suri's going to read off a whole bunch of today's movie news stories, and then Joel and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Suri, what do we got?
First up, actress Eva Green has just been announced as joining the ever-growing cast of the new Sin City movie, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, playing the role of Ava Lord. John, buy or sell Eva Green in this role?
I'm going to buy it. I think the Ava Lord character is fascinating for those of you who read the comic. It's going to require some depth, but you also have to be absolutely knockout, stunning, gorgeous to play this role, because that's a part of who the character is. And she absolutely lives up to it. I'm going to buy it.
I'm going to buy it as well. I think, John, you nailed it. She's absolutely gorgeous. The part, it almost feels like it was a part she was born to play, to be honest. I think there's been a lot of casting news from this film over the weeks and months that we've gone through, but I think they have nailed it no better than they have with Eva.
All right. In a recent interview with a Toronto newspaper, Avengers director Joss Whedon said he would love to do more with Firefly and its movie Serenity. Now, it should be noted there are no plans for a follow-up movie, but Joel, buy or sell the idea of another Serenity movie?
I'm borderline on this, but I'm going to lean towards buy. And the reason for that is because I think at this point, what Joss Whedon wants, Joss Whedon can get. And when you have a fan base that are as passionate as they are for that franchise, if he wants to do it, it's going to happen.
I'm going to buy this as well. Serenity, I said at the time, nobody went to go see it, but I think it's one of the best science fiction films we've had of the decade. I thought it was imaginative, quick. It's got a good reliable, just feral fan base. So I'd be all over it. I buy it.
Okay. New picture has leaked up an upcoming Iron Man 3 toy showing Iron Man in what is called his deep spacesuit. There have been many reports that none of the other Avenger members will make any appearances in Iron Man 3, but some are now speculating that the deep spacesuit suggests that we could be introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of Iron Man 3. John, buy or sell Guardians of the Galaxy making a cameo appearance in Iron Man 3?
I'm going to buy it. Look, Marvel has created a pattern of doing these little cameos at the end of each movie to kind of lead into the next, and nobody on Earth knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy are. So they really need to start introducing audiences to who these characters are now, so I'm going to buy it.
I'm going to buy it as well, and I think, like John said, Marvel has a blueprint. It's worked very well. Also, like you said, people don't know Guardians as much, and I think they've always hinted at what's next at the end of every single one of their movies. And this is a buy, no question about it.
All right. Two-time Academy Award winner Barbra Streisand, who has not performed at the Academy Awards in 36 years, will be on the upcoming Oscars to give what is being called a very special performance. Joel, buy or sell Streisand singing at this year's Oscars?
I would say buy it. Because if nothing else, Barbara is synonymous with musical movies, and the two producers brought on to helm this year's broadcast are well versed in the musical world. We've heard lots of talk that they're going to pay tribute to musicals, and she's the queen of movie musicals, so I think this is a buy.
I am going to sell this and sell it hard. Music at the Oscars is stupid. Singing songs at the Oscars is stupid. This is the damn movie awards, not the Grammys light. And so don't care, don't want it, sell.
Okay, next up, a new poster has just emerged for the upcoming film The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, which will open in AMC theaters everywhere on March 15th. The film stars Steve Carell and Burt Wonderstone and Steve Buscemi as his longtime magician partner who have ruled the Vegas Strip for years, but are now being threatened by the huge popularity of newcomer Steve Gray, played by Jim Carrey. Joel, buy or sell this Burt Wonderstone poster?
I'm going to have to say sell, and the reason why is I would want to buy it. Jim Carrey and Steve Carell as competing Vegas magicians sounds fantastic, but more often than not, comedies kind of miss the mark, and judging from the past history with Carrey, I'm going to have to say sell.
I'm going to buy this with everything I've got. I think this poster is just delicious. I could eat this poster up. I think this is a really funny premise. I think Carrey could have a big year with Kick-Ass 2 and this particular film if it works out. So for me personally, I'm going to buy it. And that will do it for us on this installment of AMC Movie Talk. But listen, before you do anything else, stop what you're doing. Click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, our editorials, and of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Want to listen to an audio-only version so you can listen to it in your car or at work? Just check the description below. You can find us on iTunes. Just search for AMC Movie Talk or listen to us on Stitcher Radio. Like I said, the links are below. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And once again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just click it. I want to thank our special guest today from moviefanatic.com, the one and the only Mr. Joel Amos. Joel, thanks so much for being in here.
Thanks for having me. Such a pleasure.
And our host for today, Miss Suri Serrano. Thank you, Suri.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
And thank you to you guys. Once again, the most important part of this show is not what we have to say, it's what you have to say. Jump into the comments section and let us know your thoughts on any or all of these topics or anything else. And don't forget, email us your daily questions at amcmovietalk@gmail.com, and we'll try to work in your question to our daily Movie Talk show. Once again, thanks for joining us. My name is John Campea for AMC Movie News. Bye-bye.